Uh, Good afternoon. Hi, all. Welcome to today's session on GST relating to reverse charge mechanism. As part of today's discussions is concerned, uh, as part of today's discussion, we will discuss completely relating to various reverse charge on goods and services. We have made our initial discussion on few of your services. We have another set of 8-10 services. When we close that, we will get into the goods. So that completely we will close that topic and try and see, try and see, if possible, get into a separate small topic called as value of supply. Uh, Maybe a topic called as time of supply won't permit us to do it in this session. In fact, reverse charge itself will eat away the complete time. But in case if we complete it little early, give give the benefit to me, we will take it up. Else we will take it up next time of supply. Once time of supply is over, then place of supply. Once place of supply is over, then value of supply. If we want to go in the chronological order, yeah, we can go now. So hope you're all comfortable and we proceed with the session. Any doubts of GST relating to today's session or of an earlier session, you can raise your hand. I can unmute you, or you can put it on the chat box. So, for the purpose of Q&A, welcome back. Services provided by a GTA. So, all those transportation of goods by road. If supplier is going to provide services to these identified people, other than individual who is registered, because if an individual registered, again reverse charge is applicable. Other than an individual who is registered, then yes, the respective recipient is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. So, in other words, the supplier is not liable to pay tax under reverse charge. However, sometimes there would be a possibility supplier rise an invoice with GST 6% CGST, 6% SGST, or 12% IGST. Then the respective recipient is not liable to pay tax. Make a point always very clear. For a transaction, either supplier will pay tax or recipient will pay tax. Generally, always suppliers will pay tax. If it is a notified goods, notified services, then recipient will pay tax. So that is the level at which we can make a control of these discussion. Coming back here, after our GTA services, we have made our discussion towards advocate services. All those services provided by an advocate to a business entity. Then the respective business entity is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. A very good exemption, a very seasoned exemption is this. I mean, sorry, not exemption, very seasoned entry is this. As far as your services by advocates is concerned, advocate should provide legal consultancy service to having he is providing legal consultancy service to a business entity, then the respective business entity is liable to pay tax. If advocate provides services to an individual, something relating to family settlement or family court for the purposes of divorce or for other matters of personal in nature, even see, I'm not degrading it. Come on, understand. The crux of the matter would be that all. See, we often be practicing law. Sometimes we used to say all this. நயா அடிச்சா இவன் கிள்ளிட்டான் இவன் துப்பிட்டான் இவன் பேர இது பண்ணிட்டான்னு கேஸ் போடுறேன். See, there is something called as defamation suits. I'm not sure you have heard about it. Defamation suits are very popular. என்ன இவர் பப்ளிக்கா தப்பா பேசிட்டாரு, அதனால நான் இவர் மான நஷ்ட வழக்கு கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கீங்களா தமிழ்ல? So all this will happen. See, these are not something to do with an individual's fame, individual's personality. It has nothing to do with business. In case of those kind of cases, there would be an advocate who specializes in. See, a real defamation is something I should see. If there is a very popular brand, upcoming brand, and they are not doing something, if I go and speak something bad about them, then yes, there is a defamation that is possible. Other than that, general and certain people are beyond the defamation. Okay, you can criticize them how much ever you want. So there are matters you can criticize something. If it is an opponent party leader of a particular the political party, he would obviously call, he will not individually criticize, he will criticize the act of the person. You have all right to say, no, this decision is a wrong decision. Over the 41 days, 50 days, they are taking all decision. This decision is wrong decision. I criticize only this decision. Yes, constructive criticism is always welcomed. So, any case, be aware of all this. You have cases like that. Now, in any case, those cases are going to be something to do with individual, and all this RCM, vagera, vagera, and all will not be applicable. Crux for our discussion over there is services provided by an advocate to a business entity, something to do with business. Then yes, RCM would be applicable, and the respective business entity is liable to pay tax under RCM. Look, from an exam perspective, you see the transaction, you should be in a position to say RCM applicable for this transaction. You should be in a position to say, after reading the transaction, no, 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 for this transaction, RCM not applicable. Sir, that's all, sir, that's all. From both the courses perspective at this level. Maybe one more level you are expected at CA, because CA alone, they learn something called as exempted services. And when we connect that exempted services with this topic, you may be having a little cutting edge. You need to say, this is RCM, this is exempted, so final tax liability is that all. So that is, maybe you might be required, but when we go to exempted services, we'll start combined reading and all. At the time, we will take it up relating to it. As I earlier mentioned, one topic which is there for CS, not applicable for CA, is place of supply. And again, a big topic called as exempted services is there for CA, whereas here the portion is weighted as customs. That's all. For CS, you have a customs. Customs, how long we discussed? We probably will discuss about 20 hours customs. Similarly, this time, this side exempted services will take away almost 20 hours, almost 20 hours possible, because you have roughly about 100 plus services, at least 60 plus services wants a detailed deliberation. So we will take it up. Now, any case, coming back here, that your presentation itself will have that differences. That is why somebody for 173 page material, for some of you, it is a 234 page material. That is the differences because of all this. So, any case, coming back here, moving forward from legal consultancy services, getting into the next type of services by name called as services provided by an arbitral tribunal. Arbitral tribunal is basically, there will be an arbitrator who gives, you also take this, you also take this. Recollect some of those stories that are told to us. If there are two people going to fight, one middleman will come and manage or ensure both are win-win. It is a situation for both win-win. But end of the day, that win-win solution, they themselves would have drawn. Somehow they are not in a position to draw. So because the middleman came, middleman will take a small fees and walk away. When a middleman takes a small fees and walks away, now very interesting part of it is the company which pays the fees to the middleman, the company is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Many times happens between fights between company, contracts between company. They say there is something called as Arbitration and Conciliation Act. Based on that act, this arbitration is done. Whatever services provided by a arbitral tribunal to a business entity, the business entity is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. These are all in a very specific way, lengthier discussion we already had. Just for your recap, I'm sharing now. Coming back here, getting into sponsorship services, various events, various business conclave, students conclave, educational conclave, or educational events, sporting events, celebrity events, what is your reality show events, varieties of sponsors you have. So whenever there is going to be a sponsorship, whenever there is going to be a sponsorship services, these sponsorship services, the person who receives the sponsorship is called a sponsoree. The person who sponsor the event is called a sponsorer. If the sponsorer, person who sponsors the event, sponsorer, he is the beneficiary because his name is known worldwide. His name is known everywhere. His name comes everywhere. Sponsorer. If it is going to be a body corporate or a partnership firm, sponsor are liable to pay tax. It was a dance academy. The dance academy had its what is a dance show, launch of a particular dance show, variety show in Music Academy, a place where it's known for its heritage. For various people, at a stretch, 1,500 people plus can watch it. Now, this dance academy, the dance academy, when it is launching somebody, there was a sponsor ready to give 25 lakhs to the dance academy. Dance academy is a partnership firm. The sponsor or dance academy is a partnership firm. The sponsor who gave this 25 lakhs was a company. Now, in this situation, the sponsor, let's say a particular banking company, Indian Overseas Bank. Indian Overseas Bank sponsors this dancing event, gives 25 lakhs, and the dance academy conducts the event in a very big way. And of course, backdrop is Indian Overseas Bank. So anybody who comes sees Indian Overseas Bank, they get interacted with that. That's all. Idea is that's all. Now, in an environment like this, the question before you is, who's liable to pay GST? Before that, RCM applicable, not applicable? Yes. RCM applicable, RCM not applicable. You have to answer it in this way only. RCM applicable or not, then who have to pay tax? So that is a modality in which you will answer. Yes, quick. Naresh, good. Subhashri, Sanjay, Aishwarya, anybody else? Quick, 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 quick. RCM applicable. See, when RCM is applicable, supplier has to pay tax or recipient has to pay tax. How come a dance academy will be liable? Dance academy is supplier. Recipient is IOB. He is the sponsor. Recipient is liable to pay tax. See, these are all where we have to take care of it. Who is the supplier? Who is the recipient? What is the service? Fix that. Then decide. This is a sponsorship service. Supplier is this fellow. Recipient is this fellow. Good. RCM is applicable. Once RCM is applicable, then you have to decide. Good, Sweta. Good, Sanjay. So point here is very simple. Take up situations. See, why? Because these are all topics. That's all. It is not worth how much ever time you read, discuss, you will discuss only that point. Moving forward, before we move forward, a question comes. Is if an individual avails advocate services, is he not liable to pay GST? Now, kindly make a note if that, Lavanya, if that individual is a business entity. See, business entity means, I think I already told you, any person who is engaged in business. If in case you have not highlighted or you're not aware of it, just read this word. Business entity means any person who is engaged in business. So somebody who is engaged in business is called as a business entity. If that individual engage and advocate for a business purposes, then yes, RCM is applicable. If an individual is going to engage that advocate for other than business purposes, personal purposes, RCM is not applicable. Let me repeat it. I am stopping at that level. I am only saying RCM applicable and not RCM applicable. I am not saying whether taxes will be paid or tax will not be paid, because it requires a lot more further discussion. Okay. If you are pursuing CS, it is not relevant for you. For you at CS, for you, what is relevant is whether RCM is applicable or no, RCM not applicable. In case if you are pursuing CA, yes, I do understand. That is what I told. You will know that answer after reading exempted services. நான் திருப்பியும் சொல்றேன், ஒரு போர்ஷன் படிக்காம இங்க கமெண்டே பண்ண முடியாது. இப்போ எக்ஸம்டட் சர்வீசஸ் எக்ஸம்டட் சர்வீஸ் யாரெல்லாம் படிக்க போறோமோ அவங்க எல்லாருக்குமே ஆர்சிஎம்மோட கனெக்ட் பண்ணும்போது அவங்களுக்கு ஆன்சர் கிடைச்சிடும். அதெல்லாம் அவங்க போர்ஷன்ல தான் டெஸ்ட் ஆகும், உங்க போர்ஷன்ல டெஸ்ட் ஆகும். So that is how that variation will always be there. Take care of that variation. Come back here. All those services provided by government. Various services are there. All those services provided by government. In case of all those services provided by government, I would say it in this way. Services supplied by government, be it central government, state government, or union territory, except certain related services. If it is going to be the core related services are going to be Department of Post, or it is going to be services provided in relation to a aircraft, or it is going to be transportation of goods or transportation of passengers. Except these services, for all services provided by government, respective business entity is liable to pay tax. I would suggest you only one thing: recollect your examples of coal mine, steel mine, limestone mine, or land quarry, granite quarry. All these are all exploration related matter, licensing related matter, including your telecommunication. For these, if a company, corporate house makes a payment to government, state government or central government, as the case may be, respective government is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. So that is how it is being planned. So in case of any services provided by government to business entity, yes, respective business entity is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Government is not liable to pay tax under reverse charge. One more step of government was all those services supplied by central government, state government, union territory, and local authority in relation to renting of property. If government rent its property to a registered person, then the registered person is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Now, let me repeat it. Government providing building to a registered person. See, a place belongs to government. In that place, authority by name called as that place belongs to CMDA, one authority. Okay, Chennai Metropolitan Development Authority. That land belongs to CMDA. In that land, one company comes by name called as SETC. Yes, you're Tamil Nadu based. State Express Transport Corporation Limited, one company, comes out and says, you have a land. I will construct a bus stand so that bus can come, get in and go out. Okay, you construct a bus terminus. We don't mind about it. But the land and all, we will not give you free. It's our land. Okay. What do you want? I am a very interesting note. CMDA is a local authority. SETC is a company. Now, SETC is also registered with GST. Now, very interesting to note, when SETC makes payment to your CMDA, local authority, very simple. Services provided by government or local authority to a business entity who is registered, to a person registered. Sir, why you are saying business entity registered? If you do business, only GST is applicable. If GST is applicable and you cross some threshold, then only you'll be registered. So end of the day, it is again business entity, but business entity who is registered, then that fellow is liable to pay tax. There is a software company. That software company uses a government building. Very simple. Government will not pay tax. Government will collect monthly 2 lakh rental. Respective software company is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Very interesting note. We have one property in Mount Road, Anna Salai. In Anna Salai, one property is used by a software company. but the building belongs to government, state government, Tamil Nadu state government. Very interesting. Government is give me 2 lakhs monthly rental. That's all I know. GST la எங்களுக்கு கேட்காதீங்க. Now come back here, read this entry. Okay. Respective registered. The software company does a turnover of somewhere around 80 crores. Very simple. Software company will pay tax to the government under reverse charge. So let me repeat it. When you see the entry henceforth, you should be in a position to decide whether reverse charge applicable, reverse charge not applicable. Your takeaway is that's all on this topic. ஒரு டிரான்சாக்ஷனை பார்த்த உடனே இந்த டிரான்சாக்ஷனுக்கு ஃபார்வர்டு சார்ஜா ரிவர்ஸ் சார்ஜா இதை சொல்ல தெரிஞ்சிருச்சுன்னா எனக்கு தெரிஞ்சு யூ ஆர் ஆன் யுவர் ட்ராக் அண்ட் யூ குட் ஸ்ட்ரெயிட் அவே கோ ஹெட் in the track in the same fashion associated with it. Now, moving forward from this discussion, services provided by, but 1 minute. Services provided by TDR or FSI for construction. Now, sir, TDR means what, sir? Transfer of development right. Let me repeat it. Transfer of development right. Some of you who belatedly joined, I think I have made my points very clear. You don't ask me to repeat it every time or every day of the course. I want you to have your name in the registration. I don't want mobile names and all. I don't want computer names and all. Very clear. If it is a rule, it has to be followed. It has to be followed. When you are virtual, certain constraints are there. Yes. No, sir, I am in a little hurry. I can't even change the name and join. Please don't join. Better. It's better. You can rename it, kindly rename it or join it. Or else, very simple. I will identify and remove it. When I identify and remove it, you can't rejoin for today's session. That's all. Coming back here, TDR, transfer of development right. What do you mean by transfer of development right? Nothing difficult about it. For a minute, think, be with me, because this entry and next entry is almost the same, and it is a new entry. Definitely will come an exam. So because we have all this associated aspects with it, we will take care of it. Assume for a moment you have a land in a place called as Nungambakam High Road, one of the very famous road of Chennai. In Nungambakam High Road, you have a small piece of 5 grounds of land. Okay, 5 grounds of land in Nungambakam High Road. Option 1, sell the land completely. Sell the land completely. They will give you 25 crores today. Sell the land completely. They'll give you 25 crores today. Option 1. Option 2, sign a JDA, Joint Development Agreement. Sign a joint development agreement with a builder, so that the builder comes with the technical expertise, money to construct a building in that place. You share your portion of land. You have 5 grounds, 2.5 grounds you will share. That fellow in 5 grounds, undivided 5 grounds, 2.5 ground undivided you will share. He will come with his technical expertise, construct 10 floors, 5 floors he will give you. Each floor on an average you can sell it for somewhere around 3.5 crores. Okay, and at the end you will make up somewhere rupees 30 crores. And there is no hurry for you in money. Okay. You're not hurry for money. If this be the situation, first start deciding what option you will do. Sir, என்கிட்ட 5 ground லேண்டே இல்லை சார் அப்படிலாம் சொல்லக்கூடாது. Okay. So you have a land. In that land, option one, outright sale. Okay. Option two, joint development agreement, where 10 floors will be constructed, 5 floor for you, 5 floor for the builder. Okay. Option one, option two, which you will select. Quick. Option one பிடிக்குமா, option two பிடிக்குமா? Quick, 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 quick. Any prudent businessman, any good businessman, anybody who had to make more money will select what? அப்படிலாம் வேற கேட்கணும். நீங்க மாட்டுக்கு சார் எதுக்கு சார் அவன் மாட்டுக்கு பணம் கொடுக்குறான், நான் வாங்கி பேங்க்ல டெபாசிட் பண்ணிட்டு கேபிட்டல் கெயின் கட்டிட்டு போயிட்டேன்னா முடிஞ்சிச்சு இல்ல சார். ஐ டோன்ட் வாண்ட். Good. All of you are right. Almost all of you are answering it right. See, because this requires a thinking. It's easy to mug up this entry. Mark my word. The easiest thing that you can do is mug up this entry. If you mug up this entry, you will not know what is TDR. You will not know what is FSI. You will not know anything. Okay. Now, in any case, come back here. Right. You all selected option two. If you select option two, you are signing a joint development agreement. 5 grounds land you have, no? Okay. Each ground is 2,400 square feet. Roughly you have, for my mathematics convenience, roughly you have 10,000 square feet of land. 5 grounds into 2,000, 10,000 square feet of land. Actually, it is 2,400. If you strictly speaking, you will have somewhere around 12,600 plus land. Okay. Now I'm not bothered, but okay, 12,500 square feet of land you have. Okay, roughly square feet. First I told ground, 5 ground is nothing but 12,500 square feet. 12,000 square feet of 500 square feet of land is there. Now, what the landowner will give to the promoter. Promoter here is who is going to construct the building. What landowner will give to the promoter? Landowner will give a development right. He will transfer his development right. In the landowner yaro, அவர்கிட்ட தான் ரெண்டு விஷயம் இருக்கு. Some states they call it as development right. Some states they call it as FSI, floor space index. What do you mean by floor space index, sir? If there is a 12,500 square feet land, you can construct up to 12,500 means you can construct up to another 12,500, 25,000 square feet of building. So what is this mathematics, sir? If you go to certain building norms, you will know. Now for the time being, understand from me. If you have actually a land of 12,500, okay. Now, how much I can construct in terms of building? அப்படியே மல்டிப்ளை, ரெண்டால மல்டிப்ளை பண்ணிக்கோங்க, அது வரைக்கும் கட்டலாம். Very simple. Look out your house, or if you are living in a flat, look your flat. 6 people are there, sir. Correct. 6 people. Technically, it will be a 2,400 square feet house. 2,400 into 2, it will come up to 4,800. 4,800 divided by 6. Roughly every house will be 700 square feet house. So the idea here is very simple. So they will come to a number something like this. So nothing great about it. Intentions is very simple. A person who transfer a development right. He has a right in his hand. What? By way of land multiplied with square feet, you get a FSI or development right. When a landowner transfer the development right, the respective promoter who buys the right and then give back as constructed portion, that promoter is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Some states call it as development right. Some states call it as floor space index. Some states call it as your long-term lease of land. state to state, land rules will differ. Ground land, no, land rules will differ from state to state as it is a state subject. So now GST is very clear. You give it as a long-term lease, you give it as development right, you give it as floor space index. Tamil Nadu floor space index, Karnataka development right, Kerala development right, Andhra Pradesh development right, Madhya Pradesh floor space index, Maharashtra long term lease, Goa long term lease. So it goes on. Okay. So point here is understand when the landowner who has a land who is now going to convert into a construction of a project, he has a development right. When the development right is transferred to the promoter, because in turn he'll get back some buildings back. Then at the time he'll sign one development agreement called as joint development agreement. Yes, the trans if there is a transfer of development right from the landowner to the promoter, respective promoter is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. When there is a transfer of floor space index from the from the landowner to the promoter is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. When there is a transfer of long-term lease, a right of long-term lease means next to 30 years. Actually, it will not be signed for 30 years. It will be signed for 99 years. So if there is a transfer of long-term lease of land from person A to person B, that person A is a person who has the long-term land licenses or right. Person B is a promoter. Then again, reverse charge is applicable. Promoter is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. That's all. So if it is a land transfer of land to promoter, respect transfer of land development right or FSI. True. So points here is these are all little that industry based reverse charges. You should get an exposure in that industry to completely appreciate logic, reasoning, and all. For the time being, understand at this level. You are a owner of a land in a particular place. You want to do some building, construct building and all. Your plan is to construct a building there, have some 4-5 houses, and use one house for yourself, 2-3 houses to sell it. If you have plans in your mind like that and all, then the best option for you is to sign a joint development agreement. You signed a joint development agreement. Builder came with his expertise, his cash, invested, signed one agreement, and said, "Sir, 5 houses I'll give you, 5 houses I will take." You thought, good, I get 5 houses. You got 5 houses as a landowner. What you gave as a landowner? As a landowner, I gave a development right. You are a supplier of service? Yes. What service? Landowner gives a development right. There is a recipient of service? Yes. The promoter is a recipient of service. That promoter receives the land development right because after receiving from you only, he can sell to somebody else. So that right he has. Because of that reason, he is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Moving forward, in my view, should not be tested at your level. It is a question. This topic is a little topic important from final level, not at your level. But any case, be aware of it. See, sometimes exceptionally, if they discuss also, you should not be suffering from those challenges. Come back here. Don't say me, sir, this is not in my book and all. Kindly, your book may not be amended. So be careful for it, all this and all. I think I've made my point very clear. A tagline will come everywhere. Let me repeat. If a tagline like this comes anywhere, means from an exam perspective, this is little more important. So you have to take adequate weightage if it is 2019, 2020 related discussions. Services provided by a director of a company to a company, then the respective company or body corporate is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Supplier of service is director. Recipient of service is going to be company. Then the company is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. You all know services by a director of a company. There are independent directors in a company. They come and attend only board meeting. Let me repeat, they come attend only board meeting. And you have also been aware that there are so many number of directors should be independent directors. You all will read in your, what to say, uh, company law in a specific way. But understand, so many directors has to be a independent director. In this complete background relating to it, my only suggestion here is understand this discussion is more relevant only from independent director perspective. From a whole time director or a executive director, in other words. Sir, what do you mean by whole time director? Day in, day out, everything he is managing, everything he handles, every matter he takes care of it. If this be the case, then if this be the situation, then the law comes out and says that he will be paid one salary. Salary paid to the director. Okay, salary paid to the director. This RCM will be applicable or not applicable. Sir, if director is not providing service, yes, he is a whole-time director. He provides services to the company. Salary paid to the director. Monthly, 2 lakhs they pay salary. Okay. Then he is a whole-time director. Yes, he is a whole-time director. And they pay 2 lakh rupees salary, 24 lakhs per annum director remuneration. Question before you is it liable to GST? Is it liable to this reverse charge? I'll first ask, is it liable under this reverse charge? If you say yes, who has to pay tax? Company or director? Yes. So point here is Mr. A is a whole-time director of R Limited. R Limited pays to Mr. A rupees 24 lakhs. Who has to pay GST? R Limited or Mr. A? RCM applicable, RCM not applicable. Quick. At your level, you have to be very careful and clear here. Quick. RCM applicable and company is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Okay. RCM applicable. Okay. RCM applicable. Now, any contrary views? Anybody is thinking from a different side of the question? You have a exam question. You have a exam question. This is an exam question. Malavika not applicable. Okay, good. Can you explain, Malavika, why it is not applicable? Okay. So I was referring to a word independent director. So you are of a view that this is applicable only for independent director. Okay. Go to a place called as Schedule 3. Okay, Schedule 3. Go for a minute. Go for a minute and check and come. Go to Schedule 3 of your section 7. Read something there and come and answer. R Limited pays rupees 24 lakhs to Mr. A, who is a executive whole-time director. is a executive full-time director. Thus, R Limited is liable to pay GST. Yes. You have your questions on your screen. This is the question. Maybe with a little more verbs, nouns, it will be tested in exam. R Limited pay rupees 24 lakhs to Mr. A, who is the executive whole-time director. As R Limited is liable to pay GST. Yes, no. RCM applicable, RCM not applicable. Refer schedule 3 and come back. You would have wrote somewhere. Refer. வாங்க 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 ஒரு டாபிக் படிக்கும் போது ஆதி ரிலேட்டட் பர்சன்லாம் இல்ல வேற ஏதோ இருக்குது ஷெட்யூல் 3ல. வாங்க 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 ரிலேட்டட் பர்சன்ல ஷெட்யூல் 1 அது ரிலேட்டட் பர்சன். ஷெட்யூல் 3ல வேற ஒரு பாயிண்ட் இருக்கு. நேஹா கரெக்ட். சுபஸ்ரீ கரெக்ட். In schedule 3, you have what? All those services provided by employee to the employer in the course or in relation to his employment is neither supply of goods or what? Supply of services. Neither supply of goods or supply of services. இது schedule 3ல இருக்கா? So services by a employee to employer in the course of employment. Director is a employee or not an employee? A whole-time director, day in, day out comes to your office like any other employee, access your company day in, day out, works only for the company, wherein which PF is deducted, ESI will not be applicable, he will draw a big salary, PF is deducted, all the compliance is made. If you are aware of section taxation, section 192 TDS is deducted. When all that is done, fundamental question. Is he an employee or is he not an employee? I'll give you contrary another example. There is a director who is called as non-executive director. Only comes for board meeting, sits in the board meeting, gives his idea, then get out of the board meeting, go do his work. Then again come back to the situation. Next 3 months later, you conduct a board meeting, he'll come. Last board meeting we told, executed, correct? He is called as non-executive director. Is he an employee? No. So all those services provided by independent director alone will be covered here. This is why we told in nutshell, this will be applicable for independent director. Nowhere in the entry it will be mentioned. If the money is paid to a full-time director who works for the company, it is a services provided by employee to employer in the course or in relation to employment as per schedule 3, neither supply of goods nor supply of services. ஒன்னு சப்ளையே இல்லைன்னா அதுல எப்படி ரிவர்ஸ் சார்ஜ் அப்ளை ஆகும்? So come back here, close this discussion, a very comfortable discussion. Services provided by director, independent director to a company, respective company is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Yeah. Moving forward from this discussion, services provided by an insurance agent to a insurance company, person carrying on insurance business. Then the respective insurance company is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. There are insurance agent, those insurance agent, um, those insurance agent provide services on behalf of insurance company. Very popularly, Life Insurance Corporation has many agents. LIC agents will be there. That LIC agent will provide services on behalf of that life insurance company. He's an agent. He'll sell LIC products to what? To customers. He'll say, sir, life insurance is a good company. Sir, national insurance is a good company. Sir, that insurance, this insurance. Oh, this motor vehicle and all, our insurance only good. So whatever be it, if there is an insurance agent who provides services to insurance company, then the respective insurance agent, whatever services provided by insurance agent, who is the supplier. Recipient is whom? The insurance company. Don't say the customer, sir. No, no. Who is going to pay money to insurance agent? The customer will pay or the insurance company will pay? Insurance company will pay. Insurance company is a recipient. Supplier is an insurance agent. Insurance agent supplies services to insurance company. The respective insurance company is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Similarly, there is a concept called as recovery agent. Sir, what is this recovery agent? லோன்லாம் வாங்கிட்டு கட்டாம ஏமாத்தணும் அப்படின்னு நினைச்சாங்கன்னா பேங்க இந்த ரெக்கவரி ஆபீசர்ட்ட அனுப்பிச்சிருவாங்க. சார் இவர் பேர் என்ன சார்? நிறைய படம் பார்த்துருப்பீங்க இல்லையா? முன்னாபாய் எம்பிபிஎஸ், சங்கர் தாதா எம்பிபிஎஸ், வசூல் ராஜா எம்பிபிஎஸ், திங்கர், whose main agenda is to recover money from people who have failed to pay the loan to the banks, to the financial institutions. So they recover money from those people. Very simple. Whatever services provided by a recovery agent. To whom? To a banking company, financial institution, or a non-banking finance company. Then respective banking company will be liable to pay tax. A fellow has taken 80 lakh rupees loan from State Bank of India and charging the officer of State Bank of India bank branch. He'll wait and see. One point in time, State Bank of India will post it to recovery cell. There is a cell, recovery cell. From the recovery cell, they'll assign to one fellow. That fellow will come and collect this money. That fellow will come and collect it. How he collect it is just shown in the image. அப்படிதான் collect பண்ணுவார். Okay. He'll use his muscle power and collect it. Okay. So come back here. So point here for our discussion is, in case of recovery agent, these people are registered people below the bank. There is a panel of recovery agents there where they will, one task will be given to one. They will seize the bike and come if it is a bike loan. They'll seize and come the car if it is a car loan unpaid. If it is a machinery loan unpaid, they will seize the machinery. If it is some other houses and all, they will go and seize it. So they support the agent. A recovery agent support in many ways. This is just an image to highlight to you. Nothing of the sorts and all they will do. Just சும்மா அட்ராக்டிவா இருக்கலாம் இமேஜ், அதுக்காக போட்டு. சரி, எனி கேஸ் பாயிண்ட் இயர் இஸ் எண்ட் ஆஃப் த டே கண்ணு மொழி பிதுங்க வச்சு லோன் காசை எடுத்துருவான். அது நடக்கும். ஆனா இப்படி தலைகீழ தொங்க விடுவானா சார்? அதெல்லாம் மாட்டாங்க. ஓகே, டோன்ட் பி மச் பாதர்ட் அபௌட் இட். Legally they have rights. If somebody has taken a loan and purchased a car, if they have not paid 6 months due, then the car will be seized by the finance company. That is quite natural. That is that is a that is very very common, no? Because that is the asset, and that asset has to be hypothecated and go away. In any case, that's natural. For doing some services, recovery agent will be paid a money by bank or financial institution or a non-banking finance company. Respective company is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Coming back here, recovery agent is not a business facilitator. No, recovery agent வேற, business facilitator வேற. Recovery agent அடி கிடி, power, muscle power. Okay. இப்படி பைசப்ஸ் ஏத்துனான்னா அப்படி பயங்கரமா இருக்கும் இருக்கலாம். ஸோ அது மாதிரி ஆள் தான் அவங்க. ஓகே. நோ, பிசினஸ் ஃபெசிலிட்டேட்டர் பர்பஸ் இஸ் டிஃபரன்ஸ். ரெக்கவரி ஏஜென்ட். பிசினஸ் ஃபெசிலிட்டேட்டர் என்றால் சமத்து பசங்க. ஓகே. பேங்க்லயே உட்காந்துன்னு சலான் கிலான் ஃபில் பண்ணி கொடுப்பானுங்க. இவங்கெல்லாம் இறங்கி ரோட்ல ஏய் ஊயின்னு சத்தம் போடுறாங்க. ஓகே. தட்ஸ் ஆல். பர்பஸ் இஸ் டிஃபரண்ட். ஓகே. Purpose is different. If a composer of a music, if a composer of a music, artist of a paint, a photographer who clicks such beautiful photos, I still remember there are days when we had an opportunity to spend time with some of those people who are all having interested in photography. The kind of patience they have, unimaginable, highly unimaginable. They wake up early in the morning. They rise as early as 4:30. Go stand before a location. Wait for the moment to happen, and that moment is exactly that 4 seconds. I was surprised. He stands and says, "Ganesh, count 1, 2, 3, 4." That's it. That 4 seconds only. It is like that. Fifth second, it is not like that. And if I come down by on my time minus 4 seconds, no, it is not like that. Only that 4 seconds. He says, Ganesh, if you miss this 4 seconds, you're done. To know that this 4 seconds are my prime time, I would have come to this location at least for 10 times. I was amazed by the patience that they enjoy there. It's easy to say. It's easy to say somebody composed songs. Unfortunately, this person composed song. இந்த ஆள் என்ன கீபோர்ட்ல கை வச்சு வாசிச்சா எல்லாமே ஹிட் ஆகுது. Now, just as a notion, because we get inspired by these personalities in a very great way. A personality like A.R. Rahman, to convince a seasoned director. Okay, to me, seasoned director is a director who picks the best of AR. Okay, sometimes he has to work as hard as 100 tunes, 120 tunes. How many of us will believe that song Arima Arima is 133rd tune, meaning thereby 130 tune is neglected. அப்ப அதெல்லாம் என்ன இருந்திருக்கும்? See, this is successful, no doubt about it. We know the success of this song. If you say that from your Chekkachivandavana Malai Kuruvi is one of your pet songs, Malai Kuruvi is 115th song. Prior to that, there were 114. எனக்கு ஒரு நேரம் தாமஸ் ஆல்வா எடிசனே ஒரு தடவை தாங்க ஸ்பெண்ட் பண்ணாரு. நம்மால் ஒரு வாட்டியும் எவ்ரி டைம். ஸோ வாட் அமௌண்ட் ஆஃப் எஃபர்ட்ஸ் கோஸ் இன், how much people come, how much thinking goes off, how much you improvise over a period of time, how much the other technicians who are all involved or who are all collaborating is going next. Amazing. It's absolutely amazing. But the point here is, at the end of what they have in their hand intellectual property right. The owner of the song is the composer. The owner of the paint is the painter. Artistic painting. The owner of the photograph is the all said and done the photographer. I'm sorry. No. If உங்களையே பொறாமப்படுற மாதிரி ஒருத்தர் போட்டோ எடுத்துட்டாருன்னா ஓனர் அவரு அந்த போட்டோகிராஃபருக்கு. ஏய் என்னதான போட்டோ எடுத்திருக்கீங்க நீங்க? அப்படி இருக்கும்போது சார் இந்த வாழ்நாளே என் கேண்டிட் கிளிக் இதுதான் சார் அப்படின்னு ஒரு தடவை கிளிக் வச்சிருந்தீங்கன்னா அந்த போட்டோக்கு see sometimes many times certain photographs will be commercially exploited. Okay, let me repeat, certain photographs are commercially exploited. For those photographs you should get the prior consent of the owner of copyright to commercially exploit that photograph. My whole discussion here is, in case of all those composer, all these activities, There is an artist, there is a composer, there is a author. He gives the right to publish to the production house, to a publisher, or to a company. Then the respective recipient is liable to pay tax, not these author, composer of the music or photograph or painting, as the case may be, they are not liable. It is also applicable for author of books. Author of books also it is applicable. So come on, understand, if you are an intellectual property right owner and you allow any other person to exploit your intellectual property right, you give them a right to use. Let me repeat, you give them a right to use, then very simple, the respective recipient who get the right to use, be it a publisher, be it a music company, or it is going to be a producer, or it is going to be any person who is going to publish that in the calendar X, Y, Z, all are going to be those recipients. They are liable to pay tax under reverse charge, not the photographer, not the music composer, not the author who makes literary, or not the author who paints it. No, they are not liable. So this should sum up your discussion relating to owner of a copyright, and they hold the copyright without their consent. If we use it, I'm sorry, it would be a punishable offense, and you have the Copyright Act comes with all those restrictions associated with that. Moving forward, this point I have already coupled along with that earlier itself. This is a point exclusively applicable for author of a book. Now this point was not applicable for author of book or author of original literacy work to a publisher. Exclusive discussion on publisher. If you carefully note, it will not discuss about relating to publisher. It only discuss about all those original dramatic, musical, artistic work, or a music company or a producer, something to do with other than literary. Other than literary was the previous entry. Later at a later date, they also brought in this author also. Services provided by a member of a overseeing committee. Whatever services provided by members of overseeing committee, then the respective member is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Whatever services provided by member of overseeing committee, whatever be those services provided by member of overseeing committee, then no doubt the respective member of the overseeing committee, they would be liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Followed by overseeing committee is a committee above RBI which manages the complete functioning of RBI. Governor of RBI is also a member in the overseeing committee. They only manage, take all big decisions. Do we need to reduce the SLR, CRR, ஏதோ படிச்சிருப்போம் தெரியுமா பேங்க்லலாம் statutory reserve ratio, compulsory liquidity, sorry, cash liquidity ratio எல்லாம். Okay. Now, moving forward. Direct selling agent. What do we mean by direct selling agent? Direct selling agent, all those people who are all involved in providing or acting as a bridge between, they act as just a bridge between both, they act as a bridge between both government, sorry, not government, act as a bridge between those people who want to take loan as well as people who is going to give loan. So there are banking companies and financial institutions who are interested in giving loan, and this side there are people who are Indian people who want to buy a auto loan, or a auto loan here refers to vehicle related loan, or there are people who are interested in taking loans for what is it, houses. There are people who are all interested in taking loans for business progresses. So there is a middleman. That middleman is called as direct selling agent. In fact, he takes care of all the documentation collection, this, that, everything, and ensures he approaches the right bank get the loan at the earliest point in time. Because of this, what happens? The banking company gets more people under their loan tenure. So if the bank gives more loan, they get more interest. So it's progress for the bank. What banks gives us? I am collecting so much processing fee. Let's say if the bank collects 10,000 rupees as processing fee, I'll give you one small fees, which is called as the commission or incentive, something like that. Who gives to whom? Bank will give to direct selling agent. So any services provided by direct selling agent to bank or financial institution, then very simple, the respective banking company is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. So that sums up your discussion relating to direct selling agent. Moving forward in discussion with us. Now, 1 minute. 1 minute. 1 minute. Why it is not coming? 1 minute. Yes. Now, all those services provided by business facilitator. Somebody was asking me, sir, business facilitator. I will take up two discussions together. Both will come in exam this time. Services provided by business facilitator, services provided by business correspondent. Sir, there is a difference between business correspondent and business facilitator. Uh, when it comes to business facilitator and business correspondent, yes, there is a difference. Business facilitator, as far as business facilitator is concerned, 1 minute. This business facilitator is concerned, this business facilitator will be helping the bank in all ways. And the only difference between a business facilitator and a business correspondent is business facilitator can do all banking operations also, whereas a business correspondent cannot be involved in banking operations. Only point here is the business correspondent is sorry, business facilitators are only responsible for spreading the awareness related to banking, bank products, assisting the bank, business generation activities, and recovery of bad debts. However, they do not undertake any cash transaction. Similarly, business correspondent, they are all representative appointed by the Act to provide banking services. A business correspondent would be involved in doing banking related services. A business facilitator would be responsible in spreading awareness about the bank. Both fellows, whatever services provided by them, very simple. The respective recipient being the bank, they are liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Absolutely nothing is here. The bank is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. I hope you appreciate their banking company and sorry, not here. Here it is wrong. It's not business correspondent. It is your banking company located in taxable territory. Here the recipient of service word should be, this is wrong. It should be banking company. banking company located in taxable territory. The previous slide, same word should come over here. Moving forward, security services. All those security services provided by government. In case of security services provided by government, uh, see, take a situation. Somebody provides security services to a registered person. So security services, supply of security services, all those security services provided to a registered person. Now here, a registered person is going to provide, a person who is going to provide security services to a registered person. Let's take a situation. There is an individual called as Sun Securities. He's running a firm called as, proprietary firm called as Sun Securities. And from Sun Securities, they protect a building. That building belongs to some trading company, some jewelry shop or something. Then, if the jewelry shop or trading company is registered, then the respective registered person is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. So all those services provided by Sun, all the services provided in relation to security services to a registered recipient, the respective registered recipient is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Similarly, in case of all those services in relation to renting of motor vehicles, all those services in relation to renting of motor vehicles, the services are provided to a body corporate or a company located in taxable territory. So service should be renting of motor vehicle. Recipient should be body corporate located in taxable territory. Then the respective recipient is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. So these are all some new changes that are brought in. Very, very recently introduced entry. Be careful. Will be tested in exam. Be it security services provided to a registered person or renting of motor vehicle services provided to a body corporate. Yes, the body corporate or the registered person is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. In this renting of motor vehicle, you should ensure one point in a more detailed way. The cost of the fuel is also included in the consideration. That is one more additional pointer. The cost of the fuel should also be included in the additional consideration. That is to say, sir, per kilometer you give me 14 rupees. Per kilometer you give me 12 rupees, which will include repair, maintenance, everything, his profit, everything. If he collects, then from a corporate, if he collects, then applicable. Some of you will have a doubt in your mind, sir, if the supplier supplies services to other than body corporate, sir, if renting of motor vehicle is provided to other than body corporate, very simple, then the renting of motor vehicle company will be liable to pay tax. Sir, I'm not able to understand this logic. Ramesh Travels, a partnership firm. This Ramesh Travels, which is a partnership firm, provides services to CFI Technologies Limited. Then Ramesh Travel will supply the car. CFI Technologies Limited executives use the car to different locations. Then it comes back. The car is sent back to Ramesh Travels. 5 days later, Ramesh Travels sends the invoice. Now, in this transaction, Ramesh Travels providing services to CFI Technologies Limited, a company, body corporate. CFI Technologies Limited is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Ramesh Travels provides services to RS and Co, a chartered accountant firm or a company secretary firm. Then whether this reverse charge is applicable. If you check, RS and Co is not a company, it's not a body corporate, it is a partnership firm. Then very simple, turn this side. Ramesh Travels is liable to pay tax under forward charge. If a travel company provides services to a body corporate, then the respective recipient is liable to pay tax under reverse charge if it is a body corporate. If the travel company provides services to other than body corporate, this RCM is not applicable. If RCM is not applicable, under a forward charge, that company will pay tax. So that would be your final takeaway relating to these discussions. So come back here. This is about your entries, which are all recently brought in, followed by a last entry in case of intermediary services provided by a borrower, provided to a borrower by SEBI. Then the respective borrower is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. So lending services through based on securities provided by SEBI to a borrower, then the respective borrower is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. So these are all some of those entries associated with your both intrastate supply as well as interstate supply. Now we are going to discuss about an entry which will come only in your interstate supply. Sir, you have discussed, but I'm still not getting that grip of it. Don't be bothered about it. We have reached almost where we have to reach. We have another 8-10 entries only. 2 on goods and rest 6 on another 6-7 on services. Sorry, 2 on services, 6-7 on goods. Once we close it, we will take like our last class one set of questions and discuss. Probably at that moment, if you start answering your questions, you should be in a position to tap up yourself, because how much ever we discuss, unless you see a question and you get it an answer, that comfort is a different comfort. Come back here. A very simple entry, import of service, where supplier is located in non-taxable territory, recipient is located in taxable territory, then the respective recipient is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Which service, sir? Any service. Any services supplied by a person who is located in non-taxable territory. So supplier of service is located in foreign country. Recipient of service is located in India. Then, sir, then it is a supply. Then you read it in import of service is supply. Correct. No doubt about it. But the IGST notification, that is why we call it as IGST reverse charge. This will come only in IGST. Why, sir? You all know, no, nature of supply for import of goods, always IGST, always IGST. In case of your import of service, where supplier is in foreign country, recipient is in India, and services, any service, could be consulting, could be your erection, commissioning, installation, could be repair and maintenance, could be software, could be technical know-how, could be right to use of a music, could be right to use of a goods, any services. When services provided by a supplier outside India to a recipient in India, then the respective recipient in India is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. That's all. The recipient in India should be liable to pay tax under reverse charge. The recipient should be a person other than, non-taxable online recipient. What do we mean by non-taxable online recipient? Very simple. If you receive any services, you are a taxable online recipient. You receive some services through online, assume. Now you are receiving a services through online of a particular company. Now, are you a taxable online recipient or a non-taxable online recipient? Think yourself. Now you are at your home using a particular app, you are using a services. Are you a taxable online recipient or a non-taxable online recipient? Think and answer. Quick. You yourself is a taxable online recipient or a non-taxable online recipient? Think and answer. Taxable online recipient means, sir, you are providing some taxable services. You are using this services for business purposes. Then you are a taxable online recipient. I use it for my personal purpose, sir. Then you are a non-taxable online recipient. So your decision should be based on that. Are you a taxable online recipient or a non-taxable online recipient? TOR, NTOR. ரொம்ப கஷ்டமா இருந்ததுன்னா TOR, NTOR. Yes. I want all of you to understand. When you play PUBG, are you a TOR or NTOR? If you use your Gmail, are you a TOR, taxable online recipient, or a non-taxable online recipient? Are you a TOR, NTOR? Understood? No. You are now also using a particular app, but are you using it for your business purposes? No. Then you are a NTOR, non-taxable online recipient. You will not be liable to pay GST. To the contrary. Now think from an academy which runs its business through online platform. An academy which runs its business. That academy goes and gets some paid subscription. For that academy, it is TOR, NTOR. From an academy perspective, you should now think not from your perspective, from an academy perspective. For an academy, it is TOR or NTOR. An academy is a taxable online recipient or a non-taxable online recipient. An academy is a taxable online recipient. So then supplier is outside India, academy is in India, respective academy is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Supplier outside India, recipient in India, but recipient is a non-taxable online recipient. Recipient is a non-taxable online recipient. Then what will happen, sir? Nothing. This reverse charge is not applicable. Tax கட்ட மாட்டாங்கன்னு நான் சொல்லல. நம்ம நிறைய பேர் என்ன தெரியுமா புரிஞ்சுக்கிறோம், ஆர்சிஎம் இல்லைன்னா டாக்ஸே கிடையாதுன்னு புரிஞ்சுக்கிறோம். தப்பு. ஆர்சிஎம் இல்லைன்னா ரிவர்ஸ் சார்ஜ் மெக்கானிசம் தான் கிடையாது. அப்ப யாரு கட்ட மாட்டா டாக்ஸ்? ரெசிபியன் கட்ட மாட்டாரு. அப்படி போல யாரு டாக்ஸ் கட்டுவா? ஃபார்வர்டு சார்ஜ்ல சப்ளையர் கட்டுவாரு. நார்மலா சப்ளையர் தான் கட்டணும், எக்ஸப்ஷனலா தான் ரெசிபியன் கட்டணும். நம்ம எக்ஸப்ஷனல் டிரான்சாக்ஷன் தான் டிஸ்கஸ் பண்றோம். நம்மள நிறைய பேர் என்ன தெரியுமா நினைச்சுக்கிறோம், அப்பா ரிவர்ஸ் சார்ஜ் கிடையாது. ரிவர்ஸ் சார்ஜ் கிடையாதுன்னா என்ன? ஃபார்வர்ட் சார்ஜ்ல டாக்ஸ் ஆகும். Now look at this discussion. If the supplier is that app company located outside India, provides services through internet to a non-taxable online recipient like you and collect some money, or he provides services to me, I use it for some personal purposes, for my on personal, not for profession purposes, personal purposes I use, I get some money. Now sorry I pay some money. Supplier is located in foreign country, recipient is located in India. Am I a taxable online recipient or a non-taxable online recipient? I have not used it for business purposes, so non-taxable online recipient. Government has a condition, come on supplier, you have to pay tax. இல்லைன்னா சப்ளைன்ற ஒரு டெஃபினேஷனை நான் எதுக்கு இம்போர்ட் ஆஃப் சர்வீஸ் பத்தி எல்லாம் பேசுறேன்? If it is taxable online recipient or a general taxable recipient, they are liable to pay tax under reverse charge. If it is non-taxable online recipient, then the respective app company located outside India is liable to pay tax under forward charge. Can you able to appreciate it? I'll ask you a question. You decide. Okay, you decide. Question goes like this. Google, Faisal, I'll come. Google Ireland Limited. Google Ireland Limited, a company located in Ireland, provide Gmail services to various Indians, to various Indians who are using for personal purpose. However, using it for personal purposes. Is it a import of service? Is the Indians who use the Gmail are liable to pay GST? Yes. Question is on your screen. Question 1, is it an import of service? Question 2, is Indians are liable to pay GST? If you say no to the second question, if you say no to second question, then who is liable? If you say no to question 2, in case of no is your answer to question number 2, who is liable to pay GST? Is my next question. நான் கவர்மெண்ட் எனக்கு யார்கிட்ட டாக்ஸ் வாங்கி ஆகணும். யார்கிட்ட இந்த டாக்ஸ் வாங்குறது? In case if your question number 2 is no, then who is liable for GST? Good Lavanya, good Sudarshan. Lavanya, first and second question should be answered first. Is it import of service? Yes. Is it liable for reverse charge? What? But it is liable for reverse charge? No. But then if your answer to question 2 is no, who is liable to pay tax? Very simple. Google Ireland Limited would be liable to pay tax. That the supplier is Google Ireland Limited. He would be liable to pay tax under reverse charge. If all of you could able to understand, mark my word, இதெல்லாம் tough. எவ்வளோ டஃப்னு எனக்கு தெரியும். உங்களுக்கு இதெல்லாம் புரிஞ்சிருக்கு. Just kindly appreciate this. Normally it is very tough, very, very tough to understand. Sir, what you are trying to say here, sir, if you pay for getting credits in PUBG, if you pay for getting credits in Rummy game, if you pay credits, if you pay money for getting credits in any of those games, for that matter, you are a non-taxable online recipient. You will not be liable to get yourself registered. You will not be liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Instead, the supplier is liable to pay tax under forward charge. Okay, sir, அவர் வெளிநாட்டுல இருக்காரு, அவர் எப்படி டாக்ஸ் பண்ணுவாங்க? Don't be bothered about it. We have mechanism. CS you will read it as part of your place of supply discussion called as OIDAR services, online information database access retrieval services. Let me repeat name of that services: online information database access retrieval services. We have a service called as OIDBAR services. Very short, in short called as OIDAR services. அது DBன்னு சொல்ல மாட்டோம், DAR அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. OIDAR services. அது என்ன சார் OIDAR? Online information database access retrieval services. Any services provided through online video communication, audio communication, video calling, for this calling, app-based messages, app-based content delivery, information technology தான் மூலதனம் அப்படின்னு இருக்கிற எல்லா சர்வீசஸும் இதுல தான் வரும். இந்த சர்வீஸ்க்கு என்ன பண்ணிட்டாங்கன்னா OIDAR சர்வீசஸ், நீ எங்க வேணா இருந்துக்கோ, இந்தியாலேருந்து ₹1 கலெக்ட் பண்ணேனாலும் மவனே மரியாதையா 18 பைசா ஜிஎஸ்டி கட்டிடுறேன் அப்படின்னு சட்டம் எழுதியாச்சு. சார் கட்டலைன்னா என்ன சார் பண்ணிடுவீங்க? அவனை தூக்கிடுவேன்ல. எதுல இருந்து? இன்டர்நெட்ல இருந்து. இந்தியன் கேட்வே ஆஃப் இன்டர்நெட் இருக்குல்ல, இந்த பாருங்க எப்படி இந்தியாவுக்கு என்ட்ரி பாயிண்ட் இருக்கோ அது மாதிரி இந்தியன் கேட்வே ஆஃப் இன்டர்நெட்னு ஒன்று இருக்கு. அப்படியா சார்? இருக்கா? இருக்கு. இந்தியன் கேட்வே ஆஃப் இன்டர்நெட். இந்த இந்தியன் கேட் ஆஃப் இன்டர்நெட் சர்பாஸ் பண்ணி இப்படி உள்ள வந்தாதான் நீங்க அங்க வர முடியும். சார் எனக்கு நீங்க சொல்றது புரியல சார். ஜஸ்ட் செக் ஃபேஸ்புக் சைனால இருக்கான்னு, துபாயில ஃபேஸ்புக் இருக்கான்னு செக் பண்ணுங்க. அப்போ உங்களுக்கு புரிய ஆரம்பிக்கும் நான் பேசுறது. ஒரு வெப் பேஜையே உங்களால பிளாக் பண்ண முடியும் உள்ள வராம, இந்தியாக்குள்ள வராம. முடியுமா சார் ஒரு கண்ட்ரியால? முடியும். We have this technology, all these facilities and all. Why? Because government allowed it. Why? Because they are the people of India wanted it. Those companies are very clear to comply with our regulations, so we use it. See, come on, nobody does anything for free. Facebook earns a lot in advertisement. Not lot. அந்த லாட்டுக்கு மதிப்பே கிடையாது. பில்லியன்ஸ் மில்லியன்ஸ் அவ்வளவுதான். அவன் பேசுறதே இப்படிதான் பேசுவான். அவன் அதுக்கு கீழே நம்பரே பேச மாட்டான் போல இருக்கு. அவன் வெறும் பில்லியன் இல்ல ட்ரில்லியன் தான் பேசுறான். அவன் ஆரம்பிக்கும் போதே 9 0 தான் ஆரம்பிக்கிறான். டேய் வேற ஏதாவது நம்பர் 9 0 12 0 அவ்வளவுதான் அவனுக்கு. டேய் இந்த 6 0 3 0 அதெல்லாம் ஸ்மால் பாய்ஸ். Okay, I'm not joking. I'm very very serious on this business. Amalgamation like Reliance and Facebook together to proceed further on certain matters is amazing, absolutely amazing. And again, come back here, take this side. The technology based businesses is growing up in a very big way. Who thought Swiggy would make so much? Who thought Ola will make so much? Who thought Uber, Amazon, Flipkart, Kindle? You தொடுங்களேன், தொட்டதெல்லாம் கோடி கோடியா இருக்கு. ஓகே, பிரைம் வீடியோ, நெட்ஃபிளிக்ஸ், பீப்புள் ஆர் போரிங் இன் மணி. உங்களுக்கு சரி, இவங்களுக்கு எப்படி சார் இவ்வளவு பணம் வருதுன்னா வெஞ்சர் கேபிட்டல்னு ஒரு மாடல் இருக்கு, அது போனோம் அடுத்தது. இதெல்லாம் ஒன்னு ஒன்னா தெரிய ஆரம்பிக்கும் போது you'll be able to understand the whole picture. Now be limited with your discussion. There is a service called as OIDAR services. Any services provided by online to a non-taxable online recipient, that OIDAR fellow will pay tax. Sir, taxable online recipient avan dhaan kattanum. Understood? RCM applicable. So if you are a taxable person, sir நீங்க சொல்றது எனக்கு இன்னுமே கரெக்டா புரியுது. Very simple. You download a game called as GTA. இருக்கீங்களா? Grand Theft Auto. ஓகே, ஏன் சார் அந்த கேம்? எனக்கு பிடிச்ச கேம். ஓகே, எப்போதுமே பொழுது போலன்னா அந்த கேம் எடுத்து வச்சுன்னு உட்காந்துருவோம். ஓகே, ஒரு 3 நாள் போகும் அப்படியே அந்த கேமோடவே. ஆனா இதுல ஒரு ரூல் இருக்கு. கேமை எப்படி விளையாடணும்னு அது சொல்லுதோ அதுக்கு அகெயின்ஸ்டா நீங்க விளையாடணும். அப்பதான் கிரைம் ரேட் நிறைய ஆகும். கிரைம் ரேட் அதிகமானதான் ஊர்ல இருக்கிறவங்க எல்லாரும் உங்களை துரத்துவான். So why I want to highlight here is GTA, Grand Theft Auto. Now, game like this, you download it in your system. After paying a particular premium amount, you get the full version of the, because you can unlock everything, full version of it. You are a non-taxable online recipient. There is a video game parlor whose main business is allowing people to use video games for half an hour, 1 hour basis. If he downloads after paying money, then it becomes import of service as he is a taxable online recipient. Understood this difference? That's it. Come back here. Moving forward, a next entry, a very simple entry. In case of transportation of goods by vessel. So all those services supplied by a person located in non-taxable territory by way of transportation of goods by a vessel from a place outside India up to a place of clearance in India. You no need to be bothered about that aspect. From a foreign country, goods comes until to the customs port. So by what? By vessel. So goods comes by vessel from a foreign country up to this port. Then the importer of the goods in India is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. For what, sir? For the freight. The goods will, the ship will bring those containers. When the ship bring the containers to the Indian port, very simple, they will unload the container, for which one charges will be collected by the ship. Okay. The money that is collected by the ship, generally ship belongs to foreign countries. So all those services provided by the ship line, that is that ship liner, that ship company, to the importer of goods. Okay, importer of goods. That is why they refer to Customs Act. Importer of goods, then respective importer is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Sir, in what way? In what way this entry and this entry is different? See here, any services, here itself it will not cover. See, only one point here. If your recipient is going to be, if your supplier of the ship is going to be in India, then this reverse charge is not applicable. Now, somewhere you should understand, the supplier is also in non-taxable territory. The recipient is also in non-taxable territory. Sir, நீங்க சொல்ல வரது எனக்கு புரியல சார். Supplier of services, that ship line. Ship line is also a foreign country. Recipient of service, the real recipient is the person who booked the container. That is your exporter. He is the real person. If both of them in foreign country, then only this reverse charge is applicable. If it is an Indian ship, for that matter, okay, if it is an Indian ship, the ship is an Indian ship, then the supplier of this service, let me repeat it, supplier here whom? That foreign ship. The foreign ship is the supplier of service, that is the shipping company. If it is in India, this entry will not be applicable. That is the key term for it. Maybe I would recommend you to understand at this level, because any further when we discuss, it takes you to a more further questions. What should I understand from here? Transportation of goods by vessel. The Indian importer is liable to pay tax when it is a foreign ship, and the freight is also paid by the foreigner. Freight amount illa adu foreigner e kattuvaru. Foreigner la yaar sir irukka? Exporter irkarla avare kattuvaru. Freight amount is paid by exporter. That is why he is called as recipient. That recipient is located in non-taxable territory. ஆனா இந்த சர்வீஸ்க்குலாம் பெனிஃபிஷியரி யாரு? இந்தியால இருக்காரு, இம்போர்ட்டர். சார் நீங்க சொல்றது எனக்கு ஒண்ணுமே புரியல சார். போங்க சார். Academy is providing services to you. You are receiving these services. Are you the real recipient or your father and mother? In some of our cases, except in some of our cases, you are the beneficiary. Recipient is your father and mother. Why, sir? They only paid fees. The person who pay money is called as consideration. The person who pay consideration is the recipient. Appo na yaar sir? Neenga beneficiary. Come back with the same logic. Supplier of service, ship. Okay, supplier. Recipient, who? The fellow who kept the container in the ship. Who? Exporter. Because his goods only should come to what? India. He kept it. Where he is? Foreign country. Ship belongs to whom? Foreign country. அப்ப இந்தியாவுக்கு என்ன பண்றீங்க? ஃபாரின் கண்ட்ரில இருந்து குட்ஸை இந்தியா கட்டுன்னு வரும். யார் இவன்? பெனிஃபிஷியரி. டாக்ஸ் கட்ட சொல். Supplier outside India, recipient outside India, beneficiary alone what? In India, as the beneficiary to pay tax. A unique entry. Let's repeat, a unique entry, not like your regular entry. Don't underestimate it. Supplier, any person located in non-taxable territory. Recipient, person located in non-taxable territory. Beneficiary, importer under Customs Act. Importer of goods located in taxable territory. The beneficiary will be treated as recipient of service. Beneficiary is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. A very categorical entry. Then, sir, in case if it is an Indian ship, what will happen, sir? Nothing. Recipient will pay money. Adu marade. Importer, beneficiary. Adu marade. Romba simple. Supplier is located in taxable territory. In the reverse charge apply agadu. சார் ஷிப் இந்தியன் ஷிப், இந்தியால இருக்கிற ஒரு ஷிப் கேரி பண்ணின்னு வருது சார். ரொம்ப சிம்பிள் தான் சொல்லிட்டோமே. சப்ளையர் இஸ் லொகேட்டட் இன் டாக்ஸபிள் டெரிட்டரி. நம்மளதுல சப்ளையும் வெளிநாடு, ரெசிபியன்ட்டும் வெளிநாடு, பெனிஃபிஷியரி மட்டும் இந்தியால. அப்பதான் RCM applicable. True. That is the way in which you can conclude RCM is applicable. Otherwise, RCM is not applicable. You can comfortably close this discussion associated with it. Quickly moving forward. Special discussion. Let me repeat, a special discussion under section 9(4). This is not under 9(3). Whatever we read all along is 9(3). Under section 9(4) of CGST Act and IGST Act together, 5(4) of IGST Act. If a person, in case if a person is going to construct any building, construction by இது எல்லாமே based. ஈஸி எல்லாம் முடிச்சிடலாமா சார் அப்படின்னு கேட்டீங்கன்னா முடிச்சிடலாமே. Cement purchased from unregistered person, the builder is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Capital goods purchased from unregistered person, the builder is liable to pay, that is the promoter is liable to pay tax. I will not use a different word. Again, you will have a doubt about it. Promoter is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. What is this RREP, sir? அங்கேயே எழுதியிருப்போம், நீங்க படிச்சிருந்தீங்கன்னா தெரிஞ்சிருக்கும். Residential real estate project. Okay, RREP is a word defined under the RERA Act. Real estate project na REP, RREP na residential real estate project. So a project which is going to be constructed, a construction of a building is going to happen. If this be the case, yes, cement purchased from unregistered person, promoter is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Capital goods purchased from unregistered person, again promoter is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Most important though, if there is a shortfall from minimum value of goods or services required to be purchased for the project from a registered person, அந்த ஒரு வார்த்தை மட்டும் ஆட் பண்ணிக்கோங்களேன். அது இங்க இருக்கு, ஓகே, இங்க மிஸ் ஆயிருக்கு. Supply of goods or services in shortfall from the minimum value of goods or services required to be purchased for construction of a REP project or RREP project, real estate project or residential real estate project from registered person. நீங்க ஏதோ உலகத்துக்கு சொல்ல வரீங்க, எனக்கு ஒன்றும் புரியல. If you are going to construct a building, then you should ensure 80% of the goods or services you buy from registered person. Sir, in case if I buy from unregistered person, what will happen? Nothing will happen. After the completion of project, we will do one calculation. You spent 100 rupees, you should buy 80 rupees from registered person. But you bought only 60 rupees from registered person. The shortfall, minimum எவ்வளவு வாங்கியிருக்கணும்? 80 rupees வாங்கியிருக்கணும். ஆனா நீங்க எவ்வளவு தான் வாங்கியிருக்கீங்க? 60 rupees தான் வாங்கியிருக்கீங்க. The balance 20% will be taxed by the government under this head. A particular class of person, a particular class of services. Recollect your section 9(4). A class of person and a class of services or goods. Class of person, promoter of a REP or RREP, promoter of a real estate project or a residential real estate project. When he procure goods, procure services, he has to procure minimum value of goods or services from registered person. If there is a shortfall, then that shortfall he should compensate by way of reverse charge mechanism. Pudu entry, hot entry, effective from 1/4/2019. Possibility of being tested in exam is high. இந்த entry வரலைனாலும், இந்த shortfall entry வரலைனாலும், purchase of cement, purchase of capital goods from unregistered person by a promoter, promoter is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. So be clear in relation to certain small aspects like this. Moving forward towards some of those simple entry. Supplier is an agriculturist. Recipient is a registered person. Supplier buys cashew nut. Supplier supplies cashew nut. Bought by a recipient, registered person is cashew nut, BD leaf, tobacco, raw cotton. These items are purchased from whom? Agriculturist. Supplier should be agriculturist. Item should be cashew nut, BD leaf, tobacco leaf, raw cotton. Then the registered person who is buying that goods, the respective registered person is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Let me repeat it. Supplier should be agriculturist. Very, very important. These goods, you know, I know. Recipient should be registered person. Adu easy. Supplier should be agriculturist. Similarly, supplier is a person who manufactures silk yarn. Product is silk yarn bought by a registered person. Then the respective registered person is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Who is your registered person, respective registered person? He is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Similarly, supplier is going to be state government or union territory. Goods is going to be a lottery ticket bought by a lottery distribution selling agent. The recipient, lottery selling distribution agent, is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Supplier, government and all will not pay tax. Government sell the confiscated goods, seized goods, old used vehicles, old used products, waste and scrap. Central government sells its old vehicles. Customs department confiscated goods. Income tax department seized some goods. All are sold. Then the respective registered recipient, okay, who is the registered person, he alone is liable to pay tax. Who is not liable to pay tax? Government and all will not pay tax. Sir, government தானே seize பண்ண gold வித்தாங்க. Government will sell the seized goods. It should be bought by a registered person. If the person is not a registered person, sir, very simple. Two things will happen. One, government will not sell. Two, when you come to registration provision, you will know that fellow has to be registered. Okay. In my view, one of the conditions of government tenders is the person who is going to buy these items should be a registered person. If you are not registered with GST, you are not eligible to make a application for tender. எல்லாருக்கும்லாம் விற்க மாட்டாங்க. Tender போட்டு call fair பண்ணி process ஆகி தான் விற்பாங்க. So one of the condition, you have to be a registered person. So these are all some of those points relating to it. A last entry, in case any registered person sells a PSLC, one bank will sell its PSLC. Sir, PSLC na sir? Priority Sector Lending Certificate. It is a lending certificate issued by RBI to a bank. And the certificate என்ன சார் பண்ணா அது பேங்க் டு பேங்க் வித்துப்பாங்க. ஏன் சார் சர்டிபிகேட்லாம் வித்துக்கிறான்? It's a loan certificate. If you have that certificate, it brings you some amount of compliance. So if the certificate is sold by one bank to another bank, the bank which buys the registered recipient, the bank which buys it, that bank will be liable to pay tax under reverse charge. So these are all your entry relating to reverse charges. Now I'll quickly do one thing. I'll ask you one or two questions. Then we'll quickly go to a small amount of questions which we will take it up. Mr. R, a small time trader in cotton. One minute. Mr. R, a small time trader in cotton, purchased 500 kgs of cotton for rupees 1,50,000 from a farmer in Andhra Pradesh who is liable to pay GST. Farmer or Mr. R? Mr. R, a small time trader in cotton, purchased 500 kgs of cotton for rupees 1,50,000 from a farmer in Andhra Pradesh who is liable to pay tax under GST. Who is liable to pay GST? R or farmer? Farmer or? Quick. I want all of you to answer. So RCM applicable, RCM not applicable. RCM applicable, Mr. R is liable to pay tax under reverse charge. Could your answer be different if the goods was purchased from Mr. S, a tiny trader in AP? Could your answer be different? Could your answer be different if the goods, let me repeat, could your answer be different? Could your answer be different if the goods are purchased from Mr. Yes, a tiny trader? Small illa, small oda chinnadu, tiny trader. Yes, sir. RCM applicable, RCM not applicable. எல்லாம் புரிஞ்சு அவ்வளவுதான். You don't have anything beyond that. That's all. Nothing great much to take it up. One minute. Good. Mr. S should be liable, RCM not applicable. Good. Chennai Customs Department has seized 10 kgs of gold, which was smuggled. The same was sold in public auction to Messrs. JK Jewellers Private Limited. The company is of a view Customs Department is liable to pay GST. Do you agree with company? Chennai Customs Department has seized 10 kg of gold, which was smuggled. The company, the same was sold as a public auction. The same was sold as a public auction to JK Jewellers Private Limited. The company is of a view Customs Department is liable to pay GST. Do you agree with the company? See, I don't want to know. No, yeah, yaar liable. Suma no, yes, no, yes. No, yeah, Are liable. No, that's no. RCM is applicable. JK Jewelry is liable. Or no, JK Jewelry is liable to pay under RCM. That's all. You understood, no? See, questions will be like this only. You have to decide whether RCM is applicable, RCM is not. Yes. So we'll do one thing. As I predicted, I know it will take it's 2 hours. It's a topic of that, or majority of your topic you have in that fashion only. It will get eat 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours, 2.5 hours. So we'll do one thing. We will wind up today's discussion at this level. I thank you all for effective and patient listening. In case if you have any of you have doubts, yes, I will say I'll allow you to unmute, and if you can want, you can raise your questions.